Ryan Ruth, the man charged with trying to kill then presidential candidate Donald Trump at his Florida golf club last year, was convicted on all 5 charges by a jury this afternoon. The counts include attempted assassination, assaulting a federal officer, and possession of a firearm. Ruth could face life in prison when he's sentenced in December. Reacting to the verdict, President Trump thanked the judge and jury and said Ruth was, quote, an evil man with an evil intention. And Attorney General Pam Bondi said the prosecution, quote, illustrates the Department of Justice's commitment to punishing those who engage in political violence. David Fisher has been covering the trial for the Associated Press and joins us now. David, thanks for making time for us. So Ruth never fired at President Trump and was stopped before he could. So walk us through how this plot was disrupted and how that fact shapes not only the charges, but the jury's verdict.
Yeah, so he was camped out along the fence line of Trump's golf course there in West Palm Beach. The former president, future president, was making his way. He was going from the 5th hole to the 6th hole. The Secret Service was a hole ahead of him, and as they were doing their sweep of the area, one of the Secret Service agents spotted Mr. Ruth in the bushes. A confrontation ensued. Mr. Ruth ran away while the Secret Service agent fired 3 or 4 times at him.
And as we understand it, he tried to stab himself as the verdict was read. He was quickly restrained. What do we know about that incident and how that behavior could affect his sentencing?
Yeah, so the jurors took about 2 hours to deliberate before they came back with a guilty verdict on all 5 counts. You know, as the jurors were being escorted out of the courtroom to leave, Mr. Ruth grabbed a pin and began to make a stabbing motion at his neck. It didn't look like he punctured the skin. There was no blood or anything, but marshals in the courtroom rushed him almost immediately, grabbed him, and took him out. And at that point, his daughter, who was also in the courtroom, who's been in the courtroom for the past 2 weeks, she began yelling first at her father to not do anything, to not hurt himself. Then she started yelling at presumably the marshals or even the judge not to hurt him, not to do anything. She called the entire trial rigged and that it wasn't fair and that he never hurt anyone. And then eventually she was escorted out of the courtroom as well.
And before that moment, I think it's worth noting that this trial featured an unusually lopsided presentation. Prosecutors called dozens of witnesses while the defense only called 3. And Ruth chose to represent himself. How did that self-representation shape the way the trial unfolded and the evidence that the jury saw?
Yeah, I mean, the prosecutors called a total of 38 witnesses over 7 days. Hours and hours of testimony there. Meanwhile, since Mr. Ruth was representing himself, the cross-examinations were relatively short compared to what an experienced attorney might do. And then when it was time for Mr. Ruth to present his case, he had 3 witnesses that took about 3 hours to get through. One witness was a firearms expert, and the other 2 witnesses were character witnesses.
And as we said, sentencing is set for December. David Fisher with the Associated Press joining us tonight from Fort Pierce, Florida, outside that courthouse. Thanks again for your time. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.